if we think about PSD2, on the one hand, it was designed to provide easier and safer ways to make digital payments, internet-based payments. It was to address what was a growing fraud profile in e-commerce. It was to promote innovation, and it was, as I said, to strengthen consumer rights and consumer controls. However, some of these unintended consequences, when we look at things like strong customer authentication, early studies are indicated that today, roughly 2% of e-commerce transactions require step-up authentication. And when you think about step-up authentication, think about interfering with the consumer journey in e-commerce. And we're seeing now that up to 25% of e-commerce transactions under PSD2 in Europe would require step-up authentication.
So there is plenty of use cases where we can use Samsung Pass. The natural one from the PSD2 perspective are, of course, those three type of transaction. Whenever I access my account for the information, I initiate the payment or make any specific transaction within my account. So Samsung Pass can be used both by banks and by fintechs, whatever application you want to create. And also to accessing the banking account and accessing just the mobile banking application. That's the simple use case. So today I need to have my password, I need to have my login, or however my bank authenticates me. With Samsung Pass, the mobile banking can be tied with Samsung Pass application. I don't need to remember any credential of my mobile banking. If it's tied to my Samsung Pass, I use my authentication method of my biometrics, the most secure one, to get to the mobile banking.
The way we see the role of Samsung in PSD2 New World. First of all, we can be a technological partner for anyone playing in that environment. Our security services can be used by anyone wanting to play a role in this environment because there's many aspects they need to consider. And there's also a lot that we can do there because there's Samsung Pass for the security and there's Samsung Pay for the financial interaction. But there's also all our artificial intelligence solutions. There's also all the other devices beyond the mobile phone. Our market share in TVs is a lot higher than it is on phones, for example.
Yeah, exactly.
And there's companies that provide interaction on the car. So you can start thinking about interaction in many other environments.
We need to find this balance. From one side, everybody's trying to minimize the transactions that are going to be subject to strong authentication because it's easier. But from the other side, from a legal point of view, actually what the law says that when strong customer authentication do not apply, actually the responsibility from the issuer for non-authorized transactions is more presumption. Say if it was a fraud exactly from the user, but otherwise it increased the level of responsibility for non-authorized transactions if you do not apply those measures.
It's an opportunity for all of us. It's not just about complying, it's also about moving forward and finding where are we in the new market right now, okay? All new players are coming, we know that it will be challenging. In the beginning, I remember the first meetings like a couple of years ago, it was all about threats. Now we're not, we've changed our philosophy. Now it's about opportunities. We have teams, great teams working on that, and we are trying to look for those opportunities because we know they're there.
We were looking at things like passive biometrics, payments in the cloud, artificial intelligence, natural language, augmented reality, all of these things that were creating richer transaction flows and taking more and more friction out. If those factors or if those technologies can't be embedded within the context of the regulation, then you find kind of the direction of innovation going the other way and we start to stall. And that's the risk.